1 hour a day is enough time to completely transform your life. Not someday, not in 5 years. This is something that starts working immediately, and the science backs it up. Here's what most people get wrong about change. They think they need massive blocks of time or perfect conditions. They wait for the weekend. They wait for next month. They wait for some future version of themselves that doesn't exist yet. Meanwhile, an hour passes every single day that they're not using. But an hour is actually the perfect amount of time. It's long enough to create real momentum. It's short enough that you can actually protect it from everything else competing for your attention. Think about what you could do with one focused hour every single day. If you spent it learning, you'd gain genuine expertise in a skill within months. If you spent it on your health, you'd see measurable changes in your body and energy in weeks. If you spent it on a creative project, you'd have finished work to show for it by the end of the year. The key word there is focused. This isn't about scrolling through your phone for an hour. This isn't about half attention while you're doing something else. This is about one solid hour where you're actually engaged with the thing you're trying to build. What makes this work is consistency. 1 hour today is good. 1 hour today and tomorrow is better. 1 hour every single day for 30 days is when your brain actually starts to rewire itself. Neuroplasticity isn't magic, but it does respond to repetition. Your neural pathways strengthen when you use them regularly. Your skills compound. Your confidence builds. And here's something else that happens. When you commit to 1 hour a day, you stop waiting for motivation. You show up regardless. That's when you discover that motivation actually follows action. You do the work first, and the feeling catches up. You don't need to feel like it. You just do it. Most people have tried to change their lives with giant, unsustainable goals. Wake up at 4 in the morning. Exercise for 3 hours. Write 1,000 words a day. That's not a plan. That's a recipe for burnout and quitting by week 2. 1 hour is sustainable. 1 hour is something you can actually commit to for the long term. And because it's long enough to matter, but small enough to be realistic, it actually sticks. The question isn't whether you have time. Everyone has 24 hours. The question is whether you're willing to protect one of them for something that matters to you. In the next section, we're going to look at exactly how to choose what that 1 hour should be and how to structure it so you actually see results. So let's talk about what makes that hour actually work. Because here's the thing most people get wrong. They think the magic is in the duration. It's not. The magic is in consistency and intentionality. When you commit to 1 hour every single day, something shifts in your brain. You're not dabbling anymore. You're not hoping it happens. You're declaring that this thing matters enough to show up for it repeatedly. That consistency compounds in ways that sporadic effort never will. Think about learning a language. 1 hour a day for a year is 365 hours. That's roughly equivalent to a full-time job for 2 months straight. But because you're spreading it out, your brain actually retains it better. You're giving your mind time to process, to integrate, to make connections between sessions. The same principle applies whether you're learning an instrument, writing a book, building a business, or developing a skill. But here's where intention comes in. You can't just show up for an hour and coast. The hour needs structure. It needs a clear objective. If you sit down to write without knowing what you're writing about, you'll spend 40 minutes staring at a blank screen. If you practice guitar without a specific technique or song in mind, You'll noodle around and forget what you did the next day. The most effective 1 hour blocks have 3 parts. You need a warm-up phase, where you get your mind or body into the right state. You need the core work phase, where you're actually making progress on the thing. And you need a reflection phase, where you notice what worked, what didn't, and what you're doing tomorrow. That reflection part is crucial. It's what separates people who actually build skills from people who just put in time. When you take 5 minutes at the end of each session to write down what you learned or what you'll adjust the next time, you're creating a feedback loop. You're not just repeating the same hour over and over. You're improving each iteration. The other thing that makes 1 hour work is that it's psychologically sustainable. An hour doesn't feel like you're sacrificing your entire life. You can still work your job, spend time with your family, watch Netflix, sleep 8 hours. 1 hour is a bite-sized commitment that your brain actually believes you can keep. And when you keep it day after day after day, that's when the transformation happens. Not because the hour is magical, but because you're finally giving something the consistent attention it actually needs to grow. 1 hour is a bite-sized commitment that your brain actually believes you can keep. And when you keep it day after day after day, that's when the transformation happens. Not because the hour is magical, but because you're finally giving something the consistent attention it actually needs to grow. Here's what most people miss. They think transformation requires dramatic action, a complete life overhaul, quitting their job, moving to a cabin, starting from zero. But that's not how change works. Change is incremental. It's a compound effect. 1 hour today makes you slightly better than yesterday. 1 hour tomorrow makes you slightly better than today. After a month, you're noticeably different. After 6 months, people ask what you've been doing. After a year, you're unrecognizable. The reason this works is because 1 hour removes the friction that kills most people's goals. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. You just carve out 60 minutes. That's it. You show up. You do the work. The rest of your day stays exactly the same. Your job stays the same. Your relationships stay the same. Your stress level doesn't spike because you're not trying to do everything at once. And then something interesting happens. Once you nail that 1 hour, you start noticing gaps in the rest of your day. You realize you're scrolling for 40 minutes without thinking. You see that you could use your commute differently. You recognize that 2 hours are just vanishing somewhere. You don't have to change those hours. But now you have the option. Because you've proven to yourself that you can actually stick to something. That's the real power of this. It's not the hour itself. It's the confidence you build. It's the evidence you gather that you can commit to something and follow through. That belief transfers to everything else. Your work gets sharper. Your relationships improve because you're more present. Your health improves because you're not running on fumes anymore. 1 hour of focused effort creates a ripple. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one thing, not 10 things. One, something that matters to you. Something that's been sitting in the back of your mind. Something you'd do if you had time. You have time. You have 1 hour. That's your starting point. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today, this week. Pick the hour. Block it on your calendar. Treat it like a meeting you can't miss. Because it's the most important meeting you'll have all week. It's a meeting with yourself. 1 hour a day. That's the commitment. That's the threshold where everything changes. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for consistency. And consistency is the only thing that actually works.